Hello, Billy Ray Huzzy with Southern Folk Pottery Collectors Society, and want to welcome you to go along a walking tour of our sale number 58, which is our catalog titled That Beautiful Clay. Has Lanier Matters in the middle, who we'll talk about in just a moment. So let's get started, and we're going to be looking here at some Georgia pieces first. We have the sons of John Milton Metters, who started the potting dynasty before the turn of the 20th century. L.Q. Metters is a smaller one. It's one of two known, maybe three, but we've handled two of them, and this was directly for the family. This is his brother Wiley, who potted for a short period of time before he went into farming for his life. And this is, as far as we know, the only face vessel known by Wiley. And they both have rock tube, which is a trait of the Metters family. Down here we have another one of the brothers' wife, Airy. This is Cheever's wife, Airy. And these are two sign pieces, the chicken bowl and the dogwood decorated vase, angular vase. Here is one of their sons, Lanier, who made an owl that was probably inspired from his mother's creations, because she did several owls. This was the only one that we know of, and the clay and the glaze supports the theory that it is by Lanier. These are face pieces by Burl Craig. The lot number 142 is a weeping eye, where the clay melted out of the sockets, and it's covered with a blue colored mineral found up there in Catawba Valley, titanium dioxide. We'll talk a little more about that in a moment. The one to the right, 091, is by the Browns family up in Arden, North Carolina, who originated from the Atlanta area and who's recently celebrated over 100 years of face vessel production, continual production, which is quite a feat. Then we're back to Lanier Metters, the son of Airy and Cheever, who reached just national and international fame because of his face vessels, and was highlighted by the Smithsonian's attention in the late 1960s. Here is his brother Edwin flanking the scratch jug with the grape decorated pieces. And the scratch jug, and the reason it's called scratch jug is because they scratched the design in it. This is a southern piece, actually a Georgia piece that was used in this Missing Pieces exhibition. And it's titled Pure Corn Whiskey, and you will rarely ever find southern ones. You'll find some in the Midwest and New England, and some as far as Texas, but this is very rare. It's completely decorated all the way around with the steel, the moonshiner's steel, and all the implements of that. And there is the young man seated, sampling some of his wares, some of his formulas. And we'll move over here, and up on the top is the Burl Craig with this keel disaster piece, which is highly prized by collectors because these are just mishaps in the keel, where his eyelids actually melted down with the flow of the weeping eye, an early 1970s piece. And then Edwin Metters' iconic roosters that he made, which was inspired by his mother Airy work again. Then we'll move over here and take a look at a few pieces from some more areas. Continue across the top is the Burl Craig, the swirl wig stand by his protege over here, Charles Lisk, who made swirl, just a beautiful swirl, top to bottom, well mastered. And here's some pieces. We begin right here with a small piece by Dave Drake out of Edgefield, which is probably an 1830s piece with a graduated shoulder, a Pickens family piece there from the probably 1830s. Silhouette of Abner Lander, one of the founding fathers of Edgefield. Some salt glazed pieces from the Piedmont. The center there, 082, is a piece by Henry Myers, which is sign H. Myers with a cartouche above the mark and a key impressed in the old-timey key locks, and went in and turned with the cogs, and he stamped it there. Another Baltimore piece with a star on it. A rare piece of Tennessee by Leonard Sailors, dated 1846. This is a rare piece right here, the only one known actually, by J.T. Boggs of Alamance County, and it's dated 1878. Another Alamance County piece of 18th century redware from the Salem area. Pennsylvania cast wire redware chicken, which is really unique. Some Edgefield bottles. And a piece from Wilkes County that dates around 1880s or 90s, which is really unique. And as we move over here, We're going to look at some art pottery, North Carolina art pottery, primarily North Carolina. There are some others we'll talk about in a moment. Many different ones here. Got some J.H. Owens, which is transitional wire. He died at the wheel in 1923, so these pieces are sort of the transition between utilitarian wire to art pottery. North State, Jugtown in North State, Chinese blue glaze. So up atop is some chrome red glaze, log cabin in the center there. Busby's Jugtown top with the ovoid lidded jar. Piece of Newcomb College. Decorated piece here by Jonathan Hunt and Henrietta Bailey as the decorator. Pisgah Forest, piece of Kentucky, Seldom Bobby, pair of Burley Craig swirl floor vases, J.B. Cole, Charlie Allman, Jugtown, Busby's Jugtown late 1920s, early 1930s chicken pie plate, and it speaks for itself where it gets the name. And the accidental spotting right here is really unique to find in that era and highly prized by collectors because it's such a rare occurrence, and it's titled accidental glazing, but it's an occurrence that is very highly prized by collectors. Then we'll move over here and ramble around with some different areas here. Georgia, Crawford County, very rare coffee boiler right here. These are very, very hard to find, whether they just didn't make or they didn't survive or what have you. Really rare. That was in excellent condition. Crawford County pieces here. Right here is one with a glaze clay arch that dripped out some debris and got so hot that it fused and ran down the jug. Washington County, which is like about 1810. Georgia. Then we have some other White County pieces. We got an English piece there in the middle decorated, which is pretty unique. It was in a collection. Then we got some other White County pieces here. A piece here by Cheever Metters. That's a Craven for North Carolina that migrated down into Georgia, White County. That's about 1840 or 50 there. Some more White County pieces. Atlanta area over here. Marie Rogers by Meansville, which is just southwest of Atlanta. Some other various makers. Foot warmer for the Browns or Buncombe County, which is really unique. If you think about putting that full of hot water in the wintertime back in the old days and put it in a bed where you keep your feet warm during a cold winter's night. Some different potters over here, mostly Catawba Valley. New York piece over there with salt glaze, cobalt decorated. We got some paintings by Minnie Reinhardt, some memory paintings by her. She's very well known and very prized in that area. Some more Catawba Valley glaze pieces. The alkaline glazes that they use there, which is just a combination of clay and ash. Some more Burley Craig swirl. Some Kill bricks that was collected by a collector by the name of McLaughlin's, which is really important to find because these are just relics that a lot of people overlook, but they're important study collection pieces. And we'll move over here just a moment to some, well, we got some North Carolina Piedmont salt glaze, E.S. Craven with some dripping here from the flash that actually melted, got so hot that it actually just turned into a spot of alkaline glaze where it melted. A beautiful, a really handsome piece by W.H. Hancock, and his handles are just wonderful. And notice the way they snug the jug neck. I mean, that's just a work of art right there. To think about that potter cared that much to make that, it's a premium piece there of his. Here we have Daniel Seagle, primarily these three right here, and with a DS signed on these with different marking, different periods. And this one here is just an icon with this glass melting from the glass that was balanced on the handle, and from the kiln made the drips. And generally you find, if you find two that went down uniformly from the melting, but here a third one is included, which really excelled this piece here. His son James Franklin Seagle up here, Daniel Hartzog, another glass melt piece here from probably John Goodman. There's the rutile, the titanium dioxide again, found in Catawba Valley with those two pieces, flanking the large storage jar, the 10-gallon piece, which was necessary in those days. Here's a phenomenal piece signed Joe Johnson here on the ledge, the handle top, and glass melt here. And here's that piece where he bounced on there. That's a rare piece there. So they migrated into South Carolina. Here's an icon here, just a masterpiece made by Daniel Seagle for a friend. And signed JCM, but these were made by Daniel Seagle for his friend who owned a mercantile business near Lincolnton. And it was due to some recent information surfaced and research that we did by a colleague of ours. It would have been John Conrad Michael, and he owned a business, and we have that account now. Here's another glass melt piece here from a large jar, and just look at the glass melting and the double dip glaze. Just a beautiful piece. And we'll move over here for just a moment, and we'll take a look at Alabama. And we have a wonderful piece of Sand Mountain, which is just the premier pieces of Alabama, even though they're all important. These are so highly prized, and there's combing. If you can see, there's 3 bands of combing on this thing, and it's a monkey jug, and this is a style given to it because the jug spouts are always out to the side of the wall, or out of the top. Double handled, rare piece here. This is from a recent collector who was a premium collector in Alabama who recently passed away, Dr. John Hoare. This comes from his collection. A piece here from the Warwick Pottery, and just a spectacular. I mean, that's just might as well just say just breathtaking, I guess. We'll just say that's a breathtaking piece. But Alabama, premium piece of Alabama, another piece over here, double handle. Then we'll just look right here for just a moment. These are important pieces. This is by Rich Williams, with a photograph of him. This was upstate South Carolina about the turn of the century. And it has his full name, Rich Williams. It's pretty rare to find one with both names, J.W. Seagle in Edgefield, Tennessee piece here. And we have some Dave pieces here. We saw the small piece with the X. This one has a horseshoe on it. And this is a 6-gallon piece, highly prized because of the Metropolitan Museum's exhibit of Dave recently. This is a piece here from A.F. Brannon. This is about 1810. This is slave made from the A.F. Brannon Pottery. This is Colin Rhodes, who's real well known and operates several pottery shops. This is a photograph of some of the slave potters that was working in there. Different ones here, and this is a picture from one of our reference books. And this is clay slip with the thistle and the fern leaf here. Virginia decorated piece here, probably in San Diego Valley for the Bale family school. Another piece of Dave Drake. This is a really good piece. It has 2 slashes and 5 punctuates on it. This is from the Landrum family shop. It has 2 slashes at the bottom. More than likely a slave-made piece as well. Then here is a piece by Amos Landrum, and marked with an L. 2-color decorated storage jar, and this is the only one known at this present time. I believe I'm correct in that, if not I stand to be corrected. This is a provenance of many publications through the 30 or 40 years that it's been known. Very important piece right there. Rare to find anything signed by makers. Several miniatures here, various places and pieces. Just interesting stuff to have. Everybody likes miniatures. Again, the swirl wire from Catawba Valley. A folk art Noah's Ark from about early 1900s. Wonderful sculptures by D.X. Gordy out of Georgia. The faces are just phenomenal, the amount of talent that man had. And these are really, really fine pieces of Southern folk art. Some more art pottery, a large apothecary jar with glazed drippings on it. Another dripping of glaze. This was real popular in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. A pair of candlesticks in area shape. An Ohio piece, some outsider art. Early 1970s Mose Tolliver small piece. And there's even a photograph of him holding it here, which is really, really special to have him holding it. Holding the piece there late in his life, which is really good. That's a rare piece there. Another piece early of Jimmy Lee Soda, Purvis Young, early works, and R.A. Miller, which is really rare. an African American crib quilt, which is really rare, mounted, and this is a wonderful piece, just beautiful, brilliant colors and the stark design. Really an iconic piece to look at. Good display. Here's a folk art chair. Notice the way the arms are the roots of the tree, the way they grew, and it sort of lost the shape, the roundness, and this roundness here complements each other. This is from Western North Carolina. Chip carved art there. A couple of textiles here, coverlet, and a quilt pattern. And of course here is a hook rug with a patriotic scene. We think this is about 1876, celebrating the 100 years of our nation. Here's some different pieces of folk art here. Americana pistol, North Carolina pistol, and North Carolina rifle, long rifle by Jesse Conley, who was from Berks County. His sign. Then here we have a vast array of different things. This is interesting here to have a brick mold. This would have been used by a lot of different people at different times, but we would like to think it was something to do with pottery because the kilns were made of brick. But they would put the bricks in over clay, let them dry, and then spill them out, and they would burn them in the kiln, bake the kilns out of it, and it would cure out. So we saw the brick fragments earlier. Early dirt dishes, that was real popular. And you see, if you notice the wire in there from all the cuttings from being used. This one's got grease saturated here. This one has little usage. And this dates from about 1870s probably. These are probably a little bit later. And some more over here. And a rare 3-gallon Chester Webster piece, who was a family migrated from Connecticut down to North Carolina, made decorated wire. You've heard of the Birdfish Potters. Some different pieces here. Piedmont Salt Glaze. This is a Hudson with its decoration here. We got some Alamance County pieces. Timothy Boggs, and tribute Saul Malloy here with his handles that we know is his style. So there's just various shapes here. There's J.F. Brower, small jugs, some really good pieces of salt glaze. And we got the, go back to this table of Americana for a moment. Then back to the Goodwin Webster. We talked about the Websters that migrated. This was Chester. This was made in Connecticut with Goodwin and Webster when they were in business there for a short period of time, and then they moved down here to the Piedmont area. Go back to the folk art for a moment. The Americana. Here's an African American piece here with a black girl, and she's a lumberjack. That would have been kind of amusing at the time. And you know, see she's dancing, and they make some music and it go along. It was quite a conversation piece now. The chip carved child's chair, a double-faced jug, a large double-faced jug by Jerry Brown, who recently passed away a few years ago in Alabama. So there's some fine pieces of Alabama. By the way, Alabama pottery is being exhibited at MESDA, the Museum of Early Southern Decorative Arts in Winston-Salem. Currently they have an exhibit of Alabama pottery, which is well worth noting to elevate the importance of these pieces. Here is a couple pieces of fine examples of master potter Thomas Chandler. The small jug is signed Tom Chandler Maker, and he decorated with the gallonage 2 within his bidet or sunflower looking piece. The larger double handle is a rare piece to have, plus it's overly rare, moreover you might say, that it's got an 1851 date, which puts him still in Edgefield at 1851. It's not signed, but as the old saying goes, it's signed all over because you can see his handiwork, and he was a fine potter. And you can always tell the work of a fine potter by the way it's finished off. If the neck, and he took great strides to make the necks really wonderful. They really are works of art, just like we looked at W.H. Hancock a while ago. And it's nice to see these potters that took great pride in their work to give us these relics today that we can enjoy and relish even. These are fine pieces by Thomas Chandler. And we'll continue on over here. We're back into the art potter again, mid-20th century North Carolina. Little piece of J.H. Owens and some various ones. Of North State again with some more of the Chinese Blue Log Cabin by Johnny Owens up at Guilford College about in the mid-1920s. Some more log cabin some touristy art here with wholesalers marks on them. Some Jugtown Ben Owen pieces, J.B. Cole vast pieces, M.L. Owens. Again, J.B. Cole up here early, 1930s, so to speak. A.R. Cole. The Cole was a large pottery family in the Piedmont area. They had a lot of potters, Alfred C.C., Truman, just so many Cole potters that worked, and they were very good potters. There's a picture of one up here, G.F. Cole. These go with this lot here, who worked in Sanford, who was the son of A.R. Some more pieces. We're back down here to two churns out of Lawrence, South Carolina, who was a Johnson. If you remember the Joe Johnson over there, J.J. Jar with the glass mills. These are pieces made down in Lawrence, which is upstate South Carolina. The face pieces out of Tennessee, which is a pretty unique piece. Then we got some samplers, which are really good. These are very good samplers. We got about 4 of them. And of course, samplers were made by young girls practicing their stitching ability and perfecting it. And we have some couplets, poems, Bible verses, and they always have the alphabets and different things. Here's a Hamilton piece out of Greensboro, Pennsylvania. Billy Huzzy there, more Billy Huzzy here. These are C.R. Alma pieces from the 1930s with varied trials of oxide glazes. Sewer tile art, Pig Bank. There's a slit right here, so very good piece right there. She's cute. She got eyelashes and a birdhouse. Bucks County, Pennsylvania, with a sponge wire decoration. A unique Virginia that we think doorstop line, which is really nice, or I think it is anyway. Here's some more Tennessee pieces. Virginia, and here's a mammy, if you will, stencil wire. It's really unique. I've never seen one like it. Tennessee again, Falstaff frog, a cast iron doorstop frog, which are pretty unique pieces, I think, especially the Falstaff is really unique. And we have the provenance on that piece to validate the Falstaff origin on it. The one with the marble eyes. That's a pretty good little piece right there. Really fascinating. And there's a history of one of the descendants that operated that pottery shop. Here is a Virginia piece. We think is by an African American potter. There's some provenance to it, but all we have is hearsay mostly because of those handles, and they're horseshoe style handles. And this is a telltale sign of his work. Okay, and here's a piece from Alexandria. A piece, another one of the samplers here, very good, very rich, and always with the samplers, the color makes a lot of difference, because this, if it's been well kept in a home, and this was preserved very well. I mean, the colors are real vibrant if you look at it. And we'll finish up right here with a real nice upstate South Carolina German feather painted blanket chest, large, beautiful piece, really beautiful piece, and striking, and the sunlight really brings it to life. So anyway, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Give us a call, look at our catalog, buy a catalog, come see us, and thank you for your time. Goodbye.